Hey guys, so let's go ahead and talk about graphing. So when you first look at a graph, there's a few things that you want to take in that you want to notice right away. The first thing that you want to pay attention to are what's on your x and y axis. The way I remember the difference is because y points to the sky. So on our y axis here, we have distance and it's measured in meters. And then on our x axis, which is usually where our independent variable goes, we have time taken, which is in seconds. So one thing that you can do with some information from a graph is you can extrapolate information. And what I mean by extrapolate, for instance, maybe you want to know how far the object has traveled in 10 seconds. So you would go up here to 10, you would draw a line up until you reach the line, and then hopefully you're using a ruler, but then you would very carefully draw a line over. And so it looks like about in 10 seconds, they have traveled, or the object has traveled, about 1 meter. And you can go backwards as well. Maybe you want to know how long it's going to take you to travel 4 meters. So then you can just draw your line over. Oops, and we're going to pretend that that was straight until you hit the line. And then you're going to follow it down. So to travel 4 meters would take this object 35 seconds. Now, what you'll also notice is that there are different line segments here. So we've got A, B, C, and D. And so you can tell that there are different segments of this line because the slopes are different. So what is the slope? I'm so glad you asked. The slope is the steepness of the line. So like how steep? I always kind of think of it as like, which hill would I go the fastest on if I was sledding? So if I look at A, that's a pretty good hill to go sledding on. B, you're not going to go anywhere because the slope of this line is 0. You're not going anywhere down that sled. C, you'd go really fast if you were sledding down C. And then D is also a horizontal line, which means the slope is 0. So how in the world do you find the slope? The easiest way to find slope is to take the rise over the run. Okay? So in other words, what's the difference in how far up or down? And then you divide that by how far over. And we have to do this between any 2 points on the line. So when you're picking your points, you want to choose points that are probably on the grid lines. That way you know the values of them. And we already said that B and D, when it's a horizontal line, their slopes are 0 because they're horizontal. So they're not going to have one. So let's see if we can find the slope of this segment C. Okay. So here, the rise is like how far up it goes to how far over. And notice how when I draw, okay, if I picked this point here and that point there, I can draw a line down and over to create a triangle. And this visually helps me to figure out the rise over the run. So how far up did we go? We started at 2 and then we went up to 4. So the difference is 2. And then here we started at 30 and we went over to 35. So our run is 5. So to find the slope of this line, you would take 2 divided by 5. So the slope of our line at C is 2/5. And then we can put some units on that and we could call that meters per second. Now let's go ahead and find the slope of line A. I want you guys to find the slope of line A first, and then you can play the video again to see the results. Okay, now that you've had a chance to practice, I'm going to do this one fairly fast. Again, you can draw a line down and over to complete a triangle. So how far did we go up? We went up 2. And how far did we go over? We went over 20. So the slope of segment A is the rise, which is 2 meters, over 20 seconds. And you can reduce your fractions just like you would in math class. So 1/10. So 1/10 meters per second.